What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button. Be a part of the biggest and best daily baseball show on YouTube. And now, without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches of the day. I'm going to start with Logan Allen, who was outstanding yesterday with 10 strikeouts and 7 innings, giving up only 3 hits and no runs. He relied on his changeups, his elevated fastballs, and his sweepers for this really good performance. He's a 24-year-old rookie and has shown he really just knows how to pitch. His ERA this year is now 2.72. Allen battled Tyler Wells, who had 7 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 1 run. Thanks to his cutters, fastballs, and changeups, he had this painted changeup and then this changeup that was out of the zone, but hey, we'll take it. Paul Blackburn had these breaking balls on his way to 6 strikeouts in 4 innings, giving up only 1 run on 4 hits. An excellent return from his finger injury. And after nearly 3 years with a bunch of different injuries, Michael Soroka was back. Welcome back to the Maple Maddox. He had 3 Ks on his fastball, slider, and changeup, gave up 4 runs in 6 innings, but the big news is he's back on a major league mound. Way to go. Potentially a huge pickup for the Braves rotation. J.P. France had 8 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 4 runs, thanks to his changeups and sliders. He faced Sonny Gray, who had these nasty sweepers, and 3 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. Anthony DeSclafani had this slider on his way to 2 strikeouts in 7 innings, giving up only 3 runs. He faced Rich Hill, a.k.a. Dick Mountain, who went 6 innings, giving up 9 hits. Can't tell if I should say nice or not nice, and gave up 6 earned runs, but had 3 Ks on these pretty curveballs. Bryce Miller finally struggled, giving up 11 hits and 8 runs in 4 2/3 innings, but did have 3 Ks on his fastballs and slider. He faced Domingo Germán, who went 6 1/3 innings and had 4 Ks and gave up 4 runs, and got his Ks on these wicked curveballs. Nathan Eovaldi had 4 Ks in 5 innings, giving up no runs. He had this 91-mile-an-hour front door cutter, and these dirty curveballs, including this one that got a swing from Javi Baez, which admittedly isn't that tough to do. But I did overlay it with this fastball that ran back to the plate, and you can see why Baez would swing at that curveball. He has to make a decision, and clearly read that as a fastball that would come back to the plate, but instead got the curveball and looked pretty bad swinging at it. Eovaldi faced Matthew Boyd, who had 5 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 5 runs. And threw these invisiballs. That Casamigos background really messes with pitches, but it does make me want to take a shot at tequila right now. Adam Wainwright had 6 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 3 runs, thanks to his beautiful curveball and this paintish sinker. For whatever reason, Wainwright seems to get a lot of calls off the plate. He faced off against yesterday's opener, Josh Staumont, who threw 1 inning, giving up no runs, and got Ks on his slider and fastball. Griffin Canning looked pretty filthy yesterday. He went 6 innings with 9 Ks, nice, giving up 3 earned runs. He had this filthy stuff, especially his changeups. Look at the sick movement on these. Just a ton of arm side movement, and he doesn't take a ton of velo off his changeup. He also had these fastballs and this nasty slider. He battled Michael Kopech, who gave up 4 runs, but also had 10 Ks in 4 1/3 innings. Thanks to his mix of fastballs, sliders, and dirty changeups. While it wasn't Kopech's best outing, he still recovered and pitched really well. Bobby Miller had 4 Ks in 6 innings, giving up only 1 run, and had this 100-mile-an-hour cheese at the knees, and got a sword on this 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and just had a very impressive outing all the way around. He faced Trevor Williams, who had 3 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 6 runs, and all of them were unearned. Williams got a K on this 92-mile-an-hour fastball. In the premier matchup of the day, Taj Bradley was outstanding with 8 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings, giving up no earned runs. He threw a bunch of breaking balls and really dominated with them, as well as cutters and heaters. And I did this overlay of Taj Bradley's curveball and elevated fastball, and you can really see why he would get swings on a fastball way out of the zone. It's because he tunnels it so well with that curveball. And by the time you realize it's a fastball almost over your head, it's too late. Bradley battled yesterday's filthiest pitcher of the day, Marcus Stroman. Stro threw a shutout with 8 Ks, giving up only 1 hit, and absolutely dominated one of the best offenses in baseball. He relied mostly on his mix of sinkers and sliders, which tunneled together really well. He'd start them both off the plate. The slider would run away from the plate, but that sinker would come back and catch the zone, and it would confuse hitters over and over again. Here are a couple of overlays that show what I mean. These pitches tunnel well, and you have to make a decision, and if you choose poorly, you're gonna whiff. He also worked in some split changeups, which were nasty. Stro was so locked in this game, check this out, he wouldn't step off. Bethencourt asked for time, and he just stands there on the rubber, like nothing is going to take me out of the rhythm I'm in. Stro also had this athletic play, tracking down this throw, covering first base. Stro is a former Gold Glove and played shortstop at Duke. More proof that pitchers are indeed elite athletes. As a bonus for subscribing to this channel, here is Marcus Stroman's sinker grip from my interview with him.
Okay, so sinker, man. I essentially can throw a slider from my sinker grip, and I have before. I've been like mid-delivery.
I knew it.
Before. I've been mid-delivery before. I work quick sometimes. I've been mid-delivery and have already like started my delivery and lifted my leg, and I had a sinker grip, and the catcher threw down slider, and I've thrown it off of it. So this is the grip. I'm like very torqued, so I'm across the ball. Like a normal, so if you look at my thumb, like a normal person for sinker or something like is like this, like straight up on the 2-seam. I take the ball and I torque it this way. So it's essentially almost a 1-seam. I'm throwing, it's coming off off the outside of my middle finger. So when I release the ball, it's essentially, it's not even a singer. Like on the Rapsodo, like it's crazy, man. It comes up as like a reverse, like it comes up as like reverse slider or like something crazy. The way it's
I call it? I think I called it that. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Because it doesn't spin. Like my shit like doesn't spin. Like it's weird, man. It's weird how it spins. So like I was saying, like all my pitches I throw, whereas pitchers mostly are like straight up, I take all my pitches and I move the ball like that. Even this is a normal slider grip. I take it and I torque it. And every pitch I throw, like this is my sinker. So if you look, this is my thumb placement. This is my sinker. Every pitch I throw is pretty like tight in my hand.
Now onto my filthiest relievers. Amir Garrett had this nasty slider. Albert Abreu dominated with his fastballs and slider. Aaron Bummer had these fastballs and nasty sweeper. Dre Jameson had these wicked sliders. Lucas Ursig had this upper 90s heat. Brad Hand had this filthy slider. Keenan Middleton picked up 3 Ks on his slider, changeup, and fastball and got absolutely fired up. Inject this into my veins. Mike Myers had this dirty slider. We really need a face-off between Mike Myers and the Ripper, don't we? Hector Neris had this nasty splitter. Trevor Stephan had this filthy splitter. Ben Joyce made his major league debut after being drafted last year. You might remember him from Tennessee. You know, the dude who was throwing 104, 105 miles an hour, and who I nicknamed the volunteer fireman. And he wasted no time in introducing the league to his flaming fastballs. His first pitch was 102 miles an hour with that movement. He threw 11 fastballs this game and averaged over 101 miles an hour with his fastball. And it's only going to get better from here. An absolutely electric debut by Ben Joyce. And we'll give him co-filthiest reliever of the day with Jhoan Duran. Only because Duran has won this so many times. Duran dominated yesterday with these 99 mile an hour splinkers. He also had this elevated 103 mile an hour fastball and K-hop. And I was asked, why would you swing at a 103 mile an hour fastball that is basically over your head? Well, if you pair it up with the curveball that was right before this, you see how well those pitches tunnel, and that curveball starts to break back to the plate. So as a hitter, you're thinking, well, the next curveball is going to catch the zone, so I'm going to swing at it. But it ends up being a 103 mile an hour fastball, and by that time, you're hosed. Duran also had this 103 and 104 mile an hour fastball to Jose Abreu. And somehow Abreu was able to get a hit off that 104, which I know I'm a pitching guy, but that's pretty impressive. Lastly, in my favorite moment from yesterday, Hendriks made his return from stage 4 lymphoma. And it absolutely brought a tear to my eye to see him in a Pitching Ninja shirt on the field before the game. I freaking love Liam, and it's so great to have him back in the game. Baseball is better with Hendriks in it. Although the censors may be a little less happy.
God damn it! God,
unless you can.
God damn it! Fucking finish it!
You're mic'd up.
No, it's not working. Oh, really? I haven't heard a thing all day.
That's right. Welcome back to Dong of the Week, where we bring a little bit of hitting to the Pitching Ninja show. We're going to start with Vladdy Jr., who gets embarrassed here with this absolute piñata hack. And you can see he's ashamed of himself. And on his next time up, he's clearly out for blood, and boy does he get it. This is 111.5 off the bat. And you might think this is the hardest Dong of the Week, but it isn't. That honor goes to Ryan Jeffers for this 117.4 off the bat. There's line drives, and then there's frozen ropes, and then there's whatever the hell this is. Oh my god. Jeffers' thirst for blood knows no bounds. Next, we're going to go to Austin Riley for a pair of 450 plus dongs. He hits this 459 and follows it up with another that goes 458. But the long dong of the week goes to Matt Olson for this 464-foot bomb. He also wasn't done with another pair of dongs over 900 feet, with this one that's 445. Between these guys and the long dong legend Acuna, the Braves are putting beatdowns on balls that we haven't seen the likes of since Jose Canseco and the GOAT himself, Mark McGwire, were injecting each other's foreheads with roids in between at-bats. That's your dong of the week.
And now, my Pitching Ninja moment of zen. The White Sox booth just got done talking about the importance of Memorial Day, and then for some reason, cut to this dude.
Memorial Day commemorated here at Guaranteed Rate Field. We found the least solemn person in the crowd.
What is up, everybody? My picks of the day today are a 3-leg parlay. I'm going to start out with Shane McClanahan for 7 Ks or more, and take Logan Gilbert for 6 Ks or more, and top it off with Kodai Senga for 6 Ks or more, and the Mets to win. What would your picks of the day be?